Coming in at number 10 is this super elegant one-shoulder white gown by Japanese designer Hachi.
Beautiful.
And the video tells us she wore it to a gala in D.C. back in 1985.
Yeah.
It was her first official U.S. trip with Prince Charles.
I see. I see. What's interesting about that choice, opting for a Japanese designer for an event in America, subtle nod to international relations.
Yeah.
It also, I think, spoke volumes about her willingness to break away from some of those stuffy royal fashion traditions.
Right.
You know, the beading on that gown, too.
Yeah,
So intricate.
Yeah.
It's fairy tale princess.
It is.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9 is another one-shoulder stunner,
Okay.
but a completely different vibe.
All right.
This time, it's an asymmetrical sequin gown by Catherine Walker,
Wow.
worn during an official visit to Brazil in 1991.
Uh-huh.
And get this, she even topped it off with a tiara.
Oh, wow. Of course, Catherine Walker became a close friend of Diana's.
Oh, wow.
And I think that personal connection really shows in the designs. This gown in particular is a great example of how her style was evolving by the early 90s.
Yeah.
Sleek and sophisticated.
Right.
So different from the more voluminous looks of the 80s.
Right.
Minimalist trends starting to kind of emerge.
She was moving with the times.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
That's right, she was.
Yeah.
Speaking of 80s vibes, number 8 takes us right back there
Okay.
with this Bruce Oldfield creation. She wore it to the London premiere of A View to a Kill in 1985.
Okay.
Pure 80s glam. Bold shoulders, iridescent fabric,
The whole shebang.
the whole shebang.
Yeah. Pure genius, this look. And it highlights her ability to just effortlessly blend that royal status with this Hollywood glamour.
Yeah.
I mean, choosing a British designer for a premiere in London. Talk about a diplomatic fashion win.
Diplomatic fashion win. Showed her support for the homegrown talent, too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 7 continues that theme.
Okay.
It's a one-shoulder turquoise, dressed by David and Elizabeth Emanuel.
Right.
The same designers behind her iconic wedding gown,
Wow.
which we'll get to. But she wore this to a tour of Australia in 1985.
I see.
And here's a fun detail the video mentions. She repurposed a jeweled choker as a headband.
Oh, wow. Talk about resourceful.
Resourceful, right. That's such a Diana thing to do. It really
Wow.
shows she wasn't afraid to experiment,
Right.
have fun with fashion, even at official events.
Even at official events.
Right. That turquoise color was absolutely stunning on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6 brings us back to Catherine Walker again.
Oh, okay. Back to Catherine Walker.
Are you sensing a theme here
I am.
a little bit?
Yes.
This time, it's an ornate purple gown.
Okay.
And she wore it to a Nigerian state banquet at Claridge's Hotel in 1989.
Beautiful.
Those long sleeves, rich colors, so classically Diana.
Yes. This gown is a fantastic example of how she understood the power of color and silhouette. Lavender hue complemented her complexion so well. Cinched waist, flowing skirt, a regal presence, powerful and feminine.
Yeah.
Something she seemed to nail time and time again.
She did.
Yeah.
It's like she knew exactly how to use fashion to create the image she wanted to project.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. We've got another Catherine Walker design.
Okay. Another one.
A pale blue silk chiffon strapless gown
Mm-hmm.
worn to the Cannes Film Festival in 1987. Screams effortless elegance.
It does. This dress is a masterclass in how to create a sense of lightness and movement with fabric. The pale blue and the flowing chiffon make it incredibly ethereal.
Yeah.
And it's no wonder it sold at auction in 2013 for over £80,000.
Wow.
A timeless piece that still inspires designers today.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now we're getting into the heavy hitters.
Okay.
The top 4.
Okay.
Number 4 is a dress with a nickname almost as legendary as its wearer.
Let's hear it.
The Blue Velvet Gown by Victor Edelstein.
Okay.
Forever known as the Travolta dress.
Of course.
She wore it to that gala dinner at the White House in 1985 where she danced with John Travolta.
Yes. And that dress became an instant icon. I think there's more to it than just the dance, though.
Okay.
It was a moment where she stepped out of her comfort zone, really captivated the world with her grace and her charm. Midnight blue velvet added to that drama. The photos of her twirling in that dress are just unforgettable.
They are. So was it really all about the dance with Travolta?
A good question.
I mean, the dress was stunning.
It was.
But did that moment elevate it to icon status?
Mhm.
What do you think?
The dress was already beautifully designed, and it fit her impeccably. It creates a striking silhouette. But the dance and those images of her seemingly glowing with confidence
Yeah.
undeniably added to the mystique of the dress and its place in fashion history.
Yeah. Like the dress became a symbol of her breaking free from those rigid royal traditions, embracing a more modern, carefree image.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, on to the top three. Things are about to get really interesting. Number three is the infamous revenge dress.
Oh, yes. By Christina Stambolian.
Yes.
This is where it gets really interesting.
It is.
The story behind this dress is almost as captivating as the dress itself.
Yeah.
She wore this daring black cocktail dress to a gala at the Serpentine Gallery, June 29th, 1994. Same day, Prince Charles publicly confessed to his affair with Camilla Parker Bowles.
Wow. Talk about a power move.
Oh, yeah.
The timing and the choice of this particular dress, which she reportedly considered too daring before,
Right.
really spoke volumes.
Bold statement of self-assurance and independence at a time when she was facing immense personal challenges.
Yeah.
It was a way for her to reclaim the narrative
Right.
and show the world that she was moving forward with strength and grace.
If I remember correctly, wasn't that a period when women were just starting to openly challenge traditional expectations within marriage?
Absolutely.
So wearing that dress on that night really sent a powerful message about taking control.
You're exactly right. It was a cultural moment, and she, whether intentionally or not, tapped into those changing attitudes. Revenge dress.
Right.
It became a symbol of female empowerment.
Yeah.
And it's still referenced today whenever a woman makes a bold fashion choice following a public breakup or setback.
Wow. Really shows how fashion can be used to communicate complex emotions.
Definitely.
Right.
Right.
Okay, moving on to number two. It's the Elvis dress by, you guessed it, Catherine Walker.
Of course.
She wore this ivory creation to the British Fashion Awards in 1989
All right.
and later during a visit to Hong Kong.
The nickname Elvis dress was actually given to it by Diana herself.
Oh.
Probably because of that high-collared bolero jacket.
Yeah.
So closely resembles Elvis Presley's iconic Stades costumes.
Right.
It shows her playful side.
Yeah.
Willingness to embrace a more theatrical, bold aesthetic.
Great.
Also shows how much her relationship with Catherine Walker had blossomed. Remember, she didn't have a stylist.
Yeah.
They were collaborating as equals on these designs.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's so different from that pale blue chiffon gown we talked about earlier.
Yes, it is.
Right. She could go from elegant and understated to bold and playful without missing a beat. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. The number one spot.
Of course. It has to be the wedding dress.
The one and only.
The legendary wedding dress.
That incredible silk taffeta and lace creation by David and Elizabeth Emanuel
Yeah.
that she wore for her wedding to Prince Charles in 1981.
Yes.
Dramatic puff sleeves.
25-foot train. Iconic.
Iconic doesn't even begin to describe it.
This dress captured the world's imagination, became an instant symbol of fairy tale romance.
Yeah.
The secrecy surrounding its creation, the backup dress in case of leaks, added to the anticipation and excitement.
Right.
It was a moment in time.
It was.
And the dress captured that optimism and hope surrounding the royal wedding. 750 million people watched that wedding on TV.
It's true. It's truly a timeless masterpiece.
It is.
People are still obsessed with it today. You know, the video also mentions a few honorable mentions, but doesn't really go into detail about them.
Right.
What do you think makes those particular looks worthy of an honorable mention, even if they didn't quite crack the top 10?
That's a great question. I think those honorable mentions might represent some key moments in her style evolution.
Oh, okay.
Or highlight specific aspects of her personality that didn't fit neatly into the top 10.
Yeah.
They're like little hidden gems
Right.
that true fashion fans would appreciate.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like those deep cuts on a classic album.
exactly.
But, you know, it's interesting because we've seen how her style changed over the years.
Yes.
From the bold 80s looks to the sleek and sophisticated outfits in the 90s.
Right.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives on captivating topics. It's as fluffy and delightful as petting a cat, but with way more intellectual stimulation. We'll see you next time.